Hello, Commander.
Привет, my name is Ghost and this is Power Hour, where we give games 1 hour to hook us in and convince us to finish them. Today's installment will be taking a look at a cat's journey as she heads home for unknown reasons to her sleepy town of Possum Springs. Why is she home and what will she face when she gets there? This is A Night in the Woods. The game would describe A Night in the Woods as college dropout May Borowski, I never got her last name right, returns home to the crumbling former mining town of Possum Springs, seeking to resume her aimless former life and reconnect with friends she left behind. But things aren't the same. Home seems a little different, and her friends have grown and changed. Leaves are falling and the wind is growing colder. Strange things are happening as the light fades, and there's something in the woods. Pretty accurate, it seems, it's just pretty good. However, I would describe The Night in the Woods as the entire game being focused around the character interactions. There's honestly little combat to speak of, and 90% of the game is actually choosing between text options. A Night in the Woods, for better of a lack of terms, is Life is Strange, but if everything was 2D and full of furries. May, however, is nothing like the Life is Strange, girl? Person? Yeah. And the fact that she's honestly just a giant asshole, but an endearing one. She's got a very strong personality, which can be hard to get used to, and honestly, it's got that, I'm the Avatar, you gotta deal with it! Which is honestly a really dangerous line to walk, but honestly, it's quite engaging to be a part of. The reason for this endearment to what can only be described as small angry cat is that she's always on the side of her friends. Good, bad, and ugly, May will always do what she thinks will help the situation and protect her friends. As mentioned, you play May, a 20-year-old college dropout who returns to Possum Springs for, at least for us, unknown reasons, to find that our going nowhere fast town is, well, in fact, going nowhere fast. The average age is 65, there's construction going on even though no one has seen tourists in over 15 years. The town's mines and mills have all shut down or left, and the town's basically just waiting to die. It's been bleeding so long that a lot of the town honestly feels very inclusive and shut off to anyone from the outside. But hey, it's all good, we're from the town anyway, so it doesn't really apply to us. While I would normally spend this section talking about May and the deep emotional intricacies that her character brings to light, those of which being the likable asshole and how tough that can be to write, honestly, this boy right here, the goodest of boys, is literally, and I do mean literally, the only reason I wanted to keep playing this game. So you return home to Possum Springs and meet the old gang. You have B, best boy Greg, and his more mellow and studious boyfriend Angus. While most games would try and center and focus the story around this group of rambunctious friends and then slowly and painfully kill each one of them off until you're slowly left more and more vulnerable and alone, A Night in the Woods' entire game revolves all around these people and everything you do with them. It has absolutely nothing like that. This is character-driven storyline written all over it. You have a group of friends whom you can choose to spend your time with, and
What will you learn? What will you learn? That your actions have consequences!
Story-wise, the game hadn't really picked up that much for the hour and a half, about 30 minutes that we played. We spent most, if not all of it, running around meeting everyone and then just doing some initial game diving. However, to circle back to Possum Springs, since we pretty much went through the main cast, this little town had quite a few hints and callbacks to legitimate going-to-nowhere towns of the Northeast. From the cast always referencing each other and trying to identify where they were as young kids through their high school to ages, as in, for example, when May is talking to the younger kids, she says, she was in high school when they were in middle, and the dad's always talking about high school football, to the old people remembering the good old days and wish them to return. This game has Sleepy Little Town written all over it. Oh, and then there was actually a really cool thing with the five-pointed stars, which for anyone that is not, and I kid you not, if anyone is not from the Northeast section of America, only in the US, only in there, I kid you not, there's probably very few of you that recognized or at least noticed this. So this little thing right here, that little 5-star thing on the house, so that is actually known as a five-pointed star. And I quote here, "Farmers mounted these 5-pointed stars on their barns as a sign of good luck, like a horseshoe, or as decoration. Known as barn stars, they became popular in Pennsylvania in the 1800s, specifically during the Civil War." It's little things like this that just really add to the immersion and the overall game experience to help keep you engaged and involved, even through an hour and a half of quite literally zero storyline. This last section I wanted to add in because I would bet basically my entire channel that the rest of the 1,703 games and items in this bundle that we'll likely play will probably have more gay characters. When that happens, I want to judge them on how much I genuinely enjoyed Greg and Angus as characters. I want to say how much I enjoyed these two as characters and or relatable people inside basic human society and not just gay virtue signals. The first time I met Greg, not only was he a dynamite in fox form, he was incredibly personable. Greg is what cocaine honestly takes to get buzzed on a Friday night. He also has a very fun, good bad boy charm to him, which is why I think he gets so well along with May. He's definitely an enabler, which is probably not the best thing for May due to her proclivity towards crimes. But they both clearly cherish and respect each other, and that's just something that, everyone can get behind. Angus. Sweet, lawful, good Angus. Almost polar opposites in personality to Greg. This is the kind of dude that you want at your 1980s Naval Warships trivia nights, and the exact same kind of guy that you can also go and spend a night out in the woods and just enjoy the stars. These two lovable goofballs are what I hope we'll get from the rest of the games in terms of writing, and from now on until something is able to trump the best boy squad, I will very likely be using these two as examples of how to write well-written and relatable characters who are also gay without losing what makes them feel unique. Mechanically, the game performs fine. The movement feels smooth, there's really no immediate or visible bugs to be seen, and overall the game performed pretty much exactly as you'd expect a story-driven game to act. And actually, now that I bring that up, the design and art actually kind of feel exactly how you would expect a young adult storybook to be almost written with, mild language like heck and effin' with those cool hip lingos. It actually kind of feels a lot like something that you would almost see May writing in her book. Now, while I have been pretty much singing the praises of A Night in the Woods, there are a few things that I want to bring up, because while the overall experience did hook me in, a few things that I want to bring up. The first and most pressing is that when choosing any boxes, May will sometimes add something immediately after which can completely change the initial context or meaning that, as the player, I had interpreted from my options. So, for example, you have one of two options. So, for example, option 1 is Greg is best boy, right? Option 2 is Greg is an amazing character. Both sound generally the same thing, so, you would pick either one and you really wouldn't think too much of it. However, as soon as you pick option 1, I think Greg is best boy, May will then immediately add something like, I think Greg is best boy, if you didn't always smell like feet. Which can be really jarring and troublesome, as I want to select an option that I thought was best, and then it gets almost filtered through May's voice, which is okay, but I thought that I was in the driving seat. I didn't realize that I was sharing basically the vassal character, which is May, with May. There was also a moment later on in the game where we're going up the hills to go and stargaze with Angus, and we're just idly chatting as he's trying to catch his breath going up the hill. To add some water to this solution, a day in the city has a lot of promise, and I really do think that it's worth the $19.99 that you can get it on the, I believe it's the Finji main website. Me and the whole crew are honestly incredibly personable and very relatable, and I really do believe you can find some sort of connection, whether that's good or bad, with almost any of the main cast or the side characters that are just littered, and I do mean littered. They're everywhere. There's so many people you can talk to in this game. The entire hour and 30 minutes that we gave, I was immersed in this northeastern town just waiting to die. Please do stick around as, we actually ended up streaming the entire game, so I was actually able to get the entire experience instead of just an hour and a half, if that helps you understand how genuinely, how much I really enjoyed this game. So do please stick around. For those of you that just want to get some of the highlights from me playing, please do stay for as soon as I'm done with this sellout. The highlights will come there. If you're interested and you want to hear a full, ramble, if you will, more than just a bit more of an organized conversation of this game, stick around to the very end. My name is Ghost, and please do have a good day, good afternoon, good night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, just grab it. Just gotta grab it. Okay, then grab it.
I think yeah, there you go.
I actually have to do the...
Come on, Ghost, this is your furry dream right here. Grab the can.
I can't. Fuck, this is tough. Holy shit. Got it. Okay, alright, we're bringing it back, boys. Got him.
Gamer.
Speedrun hours. I don't know if you can hear, there's piano strings.
Nah.
You hear the keyboards. Or the controller.
So sadly we don't hear like in game audio.
Oh, okay. Can you not hear it?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Ow. My knees. Oh, are the kids gone? Oh, no.
No, there's, yeah.
What it do, fellow teenagers? Let me bust a fat move. Yes. This is what the kids do these days, yes?
I love how, even though you don't interact with them at all, they just look so unimpressed.
I will bust what's known as a fat move on you young kids. Haha.
Oh, fucking stop.
Watch me vibe. I'm going to now hit the nay-nay.
Please, get this boober off the stage.
Oh my fucking god. This really does scream fucking dead-end, like, abandoned shithole of a small town in, like, northeastern US, though. Holy god.
You feel right at home, Ghost.
No, it really does. This feels like exactly where I'm living. Literally a bunch of going nowheres living in a going nowhere town. It's almost 5. It's quitting time. What do you mean? You're outside already. Kick back some brews and watch the smell. Holy shit. Oh, that hurts. Wow, that is exactly...
How redneck does that fucking gator look?
No, but that hits so hard though, because like at work, I shit you not, some of the guys will be like, so what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm gonna be just working on one of my, cause like everyone talks about homebrewed ale. Literally, that's all these fucking backwater yeehaws talk about.
God.
Kinda? Well, no time like the present. Thanks, 24-hour mom. 7 days a week. Ooh, mom just out here with that mom energy. Let's go. I can fucking get behind that.
Now, the question is, where the oh.
This is a boss battle. This is a boss battle.
Croc of the Boreal Valley.
Yotaro! Dio! Adult. Nokata kuru. Ho ho.
Talk to Greg.
Fuck, alright.
Greg is the king of the Stag Falcon or whatever.
I'm not ready for this much energy though. I don't think I can handle this. Oh
Do
boy.
it.
Hi Greg.
Hello.
Oh god.
Hi. Hey, babe. Got cups on my ears.
God damn it, Greg. Wow.
Sounds like the ocean in here.
Greg is best boy. Holy shit.
Greg is such a precious being.
I thought that
If
was...
only I could die anywhere else. So come with me, let's die anywhere else. Anywhere.
Hello to everyone that stuck around for the full game commentary. Now I do want to say this, as this will not happen for every single game that I review. This is more of just kind of a one-off. I really was fascinated with the game, and I just really wanted to stick it out and see how this game was going. Of course, every time I do the recordings for the Power Hour, I do stream them, so if you are interested, please, the information will be down below. Really help grow my tiny little Babby channel. This section is going to be a lot more of just kind of rambling instead of well-structured conversation. So I do be warned, it's not going to really have a whole lot of structure. It's more of just more comments and things that I found along the way. A Night in the Woods honestly feels like a part one of a two-part series, and I say this after completing the game and quite literally hitting the credits and then going, oh, wait, that's it? You know, there was a lot of really unanswered questions that I feel like the story and the plot just left honestly wide open, from the, you know, the generic, like, let's just have a cool and, you know, normal day anime ending, which was so weird. It was so jarring, you know. We quite literally just went from almost getting thrown into a void pit monster's abyss, and everyone's like, I just want to play my instruments. Like, come on, really? No, everyone's just gonna like not acknowledge that happened, you know? Why don't they just go back to the mine and dig out all the bodies that were clearly left there and just like, hey town, just by the way, cultists, you know? That was a little bit weird for me. Also, there was a good like 30 odd people there, right? So out of, I mean, this is a small northeastern town somewhere in the US, right? So I would place a good couple $100 that the average population size is probably between 1,000 to 2,000 people on a good day, right? 30 people going just straight missing. And actually, Aunt Malcop starts to bring that up with May. She was like, hey, 30 people just like straight up went missing. You wouldn't happen to know about that, would you? Like, I would really would have loved if, as we went through, like once we finally hit endgame and we were at the epilogue, would have absolutely loved to just see certain people that we had just kind of seen throughout the whole thing just gone. You know, something that like shows, hey, by the way, all of these cultists just straight up died and they're gone now. Like, you know, they were actually constantly monitoring you. It's just, I feel like it would have made the omnipresence of, hey, by the way, there's cultists here, which would have, I don't know, I feel like would have pushed a little bit further. Speaking of the whole cultist plot, that took so long to become like aware. I think overall I probably spent about 9 hours to complete the entire game. And quite literally, I don't think that we saw them until like the last 2 hours. We saw them at the longest days Eve celebration thing, which I don't know how long it took other people to get that, but I was basically going through and reading and interacting with everything. You know, I wasn't really trying to speedrun the game. So after going through like almost 9 hours of, you know, reading text and you know, interacting with the game, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. We need to have a plot, or else, you know, people might get mad. So it felt a little bit rushed, and that's why in the beginning I said, you know, that was it. Like, they were just invited to basically become a part of a death cult, and these like angsty teenagers didn't even like, oh, well, that's kind of a big deal, you know, we should probably, I don't know about that, guys. You know, good boy Greg was really on top of that crossbow. Where he got that, dude, I don't even know. I don't even care. I was just, oof, such a big hype. Overall, I really do feel like the game kind of slipped for me personally. I mean, obviously, as you guys have probably been listening to this, it felt like it skyrocketed for me. I was really excited with the game. I would say that it honestly quickly climbed to like 9 out of 10, 8 out of like high 8, solid 9 out of 10 game. But then just as the game continued to drag and we just did not get any sense of plot, the game just started to slip for me. Like my general interest in the game kind of just began to wane, just because again, I knew that I wasn't going to be getting this high energy, high octane combat simulator, but at least something to kind of move the story along would have been really, really, really nice. So I feel like at the end of it, I would probably say that I would rate it like a high 7 out of 10. It was still a good game, but to make it an amazing game, I would have loved the omnipresent stress of like, ooh, who's the cultist? Why are you following me? Why is everything, that constant like why factor? Why are you doing this? Why should I be worried? Should I look over? I know my friend circle isn't the cultists, but everyone else could be on the list. You know what I mean? That would have been really, really nice. May, by the way, I know that I mentioned this in the criticisms above about how she'll kind of add insanity things. She is the reason a whole point was docked off the 7 out of 10 score. May went from a endearing asshole to just an asshole in my eyes as she progressed. There was a lot of things from getting absolutely wasted at the bonfire and basically getting railroaded into doing that instead of kind of something a bit more natural. Some of the options with B, how they always just seem to be negative, which was kind of weird, especially after, the following day I would get like a text message or something on the computer going, hey, by the way, we're cool now, see you at work. And it's like, I just told you your dad is a piece of shit scumbag. Like, how are we cool? It felt a little bit jarring sometimes with when that would occur. So there were definitely quite a few there were definitely some positive moments and interactions with the whole group, like Bay, for example, when we went to the mall, Greg, when we broke. I was genuinely stressed when Good Boy Greg and I were trying to break into the Ye Olde Historical Museum. That was stressful for me. I was like, yo, I am spooked. I am spooked by whatever is going on here, because it was that omnipresence fear of the cultists. We don't know why or where the cultists are. We just know that they're coming for us. Owl spooked the heck out of me. Was very, very good. But then there were other moments, like I said, with the fights with Bay, when we go to her college and she pretends that she's a college student, and dumbass May is like, you're not in college, you wouldn't hang out with these squares, am I right, Bay? BFFs forever. And I'm sitting there and I'm going like, dude, shut up. She's enjoying this. Like, it's so clear and obvious that she's just trying to, not just vibe for a couple minutes with some complete strangers, you know what I mean? It was really disappointing how we had such great character writing for, again, Greg and Angus, and how the entire game honestly handled those characters, and then May being this almost completely oblivious idiot about how Bay could feel about things, especially after so many conversations about, her mother dying of cancer, her father quite clearly being a deadbeat, and how she is just working to the bone and will very likely never get out of that town, even though she will, she wants to. It just felt weird. The game also kind of became a little bit too artsy-fartsy for me in the end there, and what I mean by that is, with the God Cat thing, giving us a bunch of like weird exposition about things that didn't really make sense. At least for me. I mean, to be fair, I do have dodo brain, so like, why the triangle not go in circle hole? Things, I don't always interpret it that well, but I feel like maybe watering it down just a little bit would have helped, because I did genuinely get lost there at the end. I know that there was some like void creature that the townsfolk were just chucking in there to keep the town alive. Outside of that, I really don't know. There was obviously some extra stuff, but I did not catch any of it. I do, and I want to add this again because I really did enjoy how well this game wrote Greg and Angus as gay characters. I really did enjoy them, not only just as people, but as, you know, again, as just well-written characters who just happened to be gay. It was a very pleasant experience, and I think that it felt much. I mean, as I said, I mean, they're going to be the examples when we go into these other games of like, well, how did these, you know, how did the developers write their gay characters, or, you know, their situational characters, and how, you know, can we compare those to the writing and the character development of Greg and Angus? How do they compare? You know, they obviously, Greg and Angus were very, you know, dynamic characters. Greg being the like crimes, you know, and Angus just being that your cool computer guy, you know. I'm really excited to see how we will be able to compare and contrast to other games. But as I said, I really do think this game is still very fun and enjoyable, and I do genuinely recommend. Its base price is however much I mentioned inside the game, the initial review, and I do think that it's definitely a fair price. But I did really kind of feel a little bit unsatisfied almost with the ending. It felt like there was going to be a second part to this game. It really does feel like that, just with how there's so many open-ended questions and everything. I mean, the writing is amazing. The realism and the immersion into basically this northeastern furry community, it feels very realistic and down to earth. But yeah, other than that, thank you to everyone that kind of stuck around for this last little ramble. Again, I do apologize if it was just one long-winded exposition about actually absolutely nothing, and nothing was able to come of it. But thank you to everyone that was here for this last full game review ramble. My name is Ghost, and thank you for listening to this installment of Power Hour.